Hey there. Welcome to episode 1 of my new podcast. The purpose of this podcast is just to kind of go over the past week of my life. I'm recording this on a Friday, so from Friday to Friday. Just go over any significant events, get a record of them, and kind of summarize some things I've been doing that week, some things I've been thinking about that week. Of personal interest to me. So this week, it's not from last Friday. I'll just go over a few interesting things that happened over the past few days. First is I started school again. The new semester started up, but what I really want to get into is an event that happened to me, and nothing like this has ever happened before, so it's interesting to see how I've been handling it and the kind of effect it's had on me. I'll skip the boring stuff and just get right to it. I lost my wallet in my apartment building. I recovered it, but the money, and it was about $200 that was in the wallet, was gone. And when I lost the wallet, to be honest, I knew that the money was most likely gone forever, that I would never recover it, and I still believe that. But you know what, I suppose I felt victimized to some extent. Someone had to open the wallet, see my picture, look me in the eyes, look me in the face, and take the money knowing, that it doesn't belong to them. In fact, that it belongs to me. So, what ended up happening was, that was on Tuesday, it's Friday right now. On Wednesday morning, I went down to the front desk of the building I live in, and I first of all asked them if they found a wallet, because at that point I hadn't actually recovered it yet. And yes, they had, and I retrieved it. And then I looked through the wallet, to no surprise to me, no money. So I asked the woman at the front desk if she could, or actually I asked her if I could take a look at the security footage to see if I could figure out who took the money from the wallet. And what she said was that she could take a look, and she actually could not tell me who took the money if that was revealed from the security footage. For whatever reason. Probably so I don't, probably just a liability thing, so I don't go and try to, fight this person or whatever, jump them or something. Not that I would do that. But she did say that if something was revealed, I could have access to the footage or something. I don't really remember exactly what she said, but I could basically use the footage to go forward with police if I felt so inclined. And I do feel so inclined, so I asked her to, go ahead with that and contact me if anything came up. And no word for yesterday or later that Wednesday. So this morning, I went down to the front desk again. It was a different woman there that time. And I asked her kind of, what's up, what's going on with the investigation, with the review of the footage. I don't think she knew if there was any progress with it, but it seemed as though she was not completely unfamiliar with the case. I call it a case. It's not, a police investigation yet at this point. And I'll get back to that in a second. But she seems, it didn't seem like a complete surprise to her. Maybe the other woman the other day mentioned something. I don't know, but I actually took the liberty of writing down all my contact information on a piece of paper, gave it to her, gave her a little bit more information about the about the circumstances of where I may have dropped the wallet, and hopefully I get some results here, because I feel that it's kind of a time-sensitive matter, and the quicker we can move forward with it, the quicker we can get to a resolution that's satisfactory to me. Now, what that kind of resolution would be, honestly, like, I would be satisfied if I could just recover the money. And this is why I thought it was interesting why she said that she couldn't actually tell me who took the money if that is revealed, because my ideal situation would be going up to this person somehow, knocking on their door, whatever, and just saying like, hey, like, I know you took the money from my wallet. I have video proof. I have the footage, and I don't want to go to the police. I just want to settle this. If you give me the money back, then we can drop this whole thing. And if they play dumb, or if they refuse or whatever, then I would go to the police. But as of right now, it doesn't look like I'll be able to solve it that way. Still waiting on the footage, of course. Who knows how this will play out. Hopefully I'll have some progress on this by next Friday when I do episode 2. But I do intend to go forward with the police at this point if evidence is revealed. And especially among people kind of my age, there's this kind of negative stigma that is involved with going to the police. Snitches get stitches and all that bullshit. But when I have no other avenue to solve my problems, like I said before, I'd prefer to just handle this person to person. But when that option isn't available to me, when it's been taken away from me, then I have no other recourse. And I will just say, I've never gone to the police before. I've never had to. And I guess you could debate whether I have to this time. It's $200. I could just chalk it up as, it's a lesson to me to be more careful, even though I'm very careful with my wallet. This was a one-time mistake. Years ago, when I was a kid, I had my first wallet. I think I left in the movie theater and forgot it there. It didn't have anything in it, though, but, first time in 10, 11, 12 years that I made a serious mistake with my wallet. But as for why I want to go forward with the police, I just feel there's kind of two thought processes that I'm thinking. And, one is that, I want justice. I want, someone to know that, that you can't do that and you can't get away with that. It's kind of a classical, ethical, moral problem. You find a bag full of cash, you find a wallet with, money in it, no one's around. Do you take it? Do you try to find the owner? Whatever. And it's going to be up to someone's, personal moral compass and how they weigh their own desire for, free money, their own greed against doing the right thing. I just kind of assume that everyone generally has the same values as me. They value doing the right thing. Maybe that's naive, I try to have a more positive outlook on the world, though, and on people. So there's that one part of me that thinks that's approaching this like, I want justice. I want this person to know that not only will doing the wrong thing result in you being punished, but not doing the right thing when you have the power to. And the right thing in this case would be to take the wallet with all the money in it and just return it to the front desk, or try to get in contact with me somehow. It has, my picture, my name in it, so get in contact with me on Facebook or something. But I want them to know that not doing the right thing when you have the power to is wrong, I would say. And it's an interesting thing when I compare it to my own life, moving forward. If I'm in situations where I can do that, where I have the ability to do the right thing, I want to be reminded by this situation and remember, how I felt when someone didn't do the right thing. So that's just kind of how I want to live my life. But then there's another side of me that thinks like, oh, okay, well, what if all this talk of, of justice and doing the right thing, what if that's just kind of a cover-up for, my feeling of, oh, I was wronged and I want revenge. I want to get even. I want to make the person who made me feel bad in return. And, as I say this, I'm not like, if I did know who it was, I would not I would not attack them. I would not jump them. I would not try to fight them. Like, it's $200. I don't think it's worth, getting violent over something like that. But ultimately, I think it's probably a mix of both. Of both this desire for justice and this desire for revenge. Ultimately, though, I just want a good story with a beginning, middle, and end. I want a resolution to this. I want something to happen, and I think it ending with the people at the front desk saying, oh, like, we can't get appropriate evidence from the footage or whatever. I think that'd be pretty disappointing. And if they do get evidence and get it to me, what I will do, just to explain the process, it'd be, I'd call the non-emergency police line for my city and just kind of lay out the situation and ask where I go from there, if I go into the station to do a police report, or if they send someone down to me to take the evidence, take my statement, whatever, or maybe they just tell me to fuck off because it's only $200, something like that. I don't know. That's the thing, though. Like, it's an interesting kind of experience for me. Like, I've never really had this kind of, this kind of thing happen to me, and this kind of path that I've been put on. So I hope to learn something from it. I think I've already learned something from it deep down. I don't think I can really verbalize it right now. Maybe with a bit more reflection, maybe once I'm a bit further removed from the situation, I'll be able to give a more coherent statement of the kind of lesson I've learned from this whole thing, and how I can apply it to my life going forward, and how it'll affect my worldview, if at all. But I definitely hope to have more for you next week. But I want to shift gears right now. There's been something that's been on my mind a little bit in the past few days. Major gear shift. I was having a conversation with my friend a few days ago. We were talking about like video games and how the prices are, so high nowadays. Like, you can see, a modern video game for a major console or for computer being, $70, $80, $90, $100+ And my friend kind of had the position that was, wildly outrageous. And I was saying, well, you have to break it down like this. And for simplicity's sake, let's say that a movie ticket costs $20. So you paid $20 and you get 2 hours of entertainment. And so, for simplicity's sake, we can break that down further into $10 gets you 1 hour of entertainment. Now, a video game that costs $80, that's 80, would need to provide, when you compare to the cost you're willing to pay for entertainment from a movie, the video game would have to, and using the model of it's acceptable to pay $10 for 1 hour of entertainment, the video game that costs $80 would then have to provide 8 hours of entertainment. And we kind of got into a discussion about this, and when we were actually having it, I don't think I really got his point 100% completely. He was basically saying that that different types of entertainment has different quality levels. So essentially, 1 hour of entertainment from a movie would be would be valued differently from 1 hour of entertainment from a video game. And I don't know if I agree with that. It obviously depends on depends on how much you value movies and how much you value video games and the entertainment they provide. But my whole point was, I guess, assuming that the entertainment you get from both are equal, you have to use that kind of formula to work out how much entertainment, how much enjoyment, whatever, how much time you need to invest into a video game to get your money's worth, so to speak. But I was also saying, like, in 5 years, $100, like $20, whatever, it's not gonna matter. And he actually disagreed with me on that point, which I found a bit outrageous, to be honest, and he actually said there were times in the past when, 5 years ago, he was like, oh, I spent $20 on something. I wish I would have spent that on something else. And it was like, it's $20. I mean, it's money, of course. Money, has value. You can do stuff with it, etc., etc. But I don't know. I just feel like getting hooked on the concept of, like, oh, I should have gone down path A instead of path B, and still thinking about it 5 years later is a bit, I don't think it's too useful. I mean, you can always say, base future decisions on it, but like these small scale number values in terms of cash, I think is counterproductive. But I think I've rambled on enough for episode 1 at least. Hopefully next week I'll have more information on the wallet cash situation. And I also will actually, before I go, one of the reasons I actually started this podcast was, and it's for my own purpose, I don't care if anyone actually listens to it, but recently I've had a desire to become smarter. And what does that mean? I mean, there's so many different aspects that make up intelligence. And I kind of want to improve across the board, and that means, social skills, speaking skills. And I feel like the podcast mainly deals with those two skills, but also other skills as well. And, creativity skills. And I'm getting back into playing the piano, which I did a while ago, took a big break from. I'm not good by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still working my way through a beginner book, but, progress is progress. And then academically, I started school recently. I have goals to get 90% in every class, but even beyond that, I want to just expand my worldview and learn about a lot of different topics, because I feel those are feel those are just great for developing your mind and developing new ways to think about stuff. New information is gonna ideally challenge the way you think about the world and think about yourself. And that goes beyond just academics. Like, this goes into well, really what I want to focus on is, world events, world news, politics, all these kind of facets that are present in society, both on a small scale level and on a global level. And I'm not saying I can really gain a thorough, realistic, objectively accurate understanding of these big issues. But I think taking first steps is a key to becoming a more well-rounded, knowledgeable individual. And when I say I want to be smarter, I want to be more intelligent, I think basically at its core, I feel like that means being better able to absorb information, draw my own conclusions from it that follow logically, and then be able to express them. And I feel like if you can't do anything with intelligence, if you can't do anything with the stuff in your head, or well, I have another point, but I'll make it in a sec. If you can't do anything with your intelligence, then are you really even intelligent? It's like, you hear a lot people say, like, oh, I'm smart but lazy, and that's why I don't have good results when I in school, or that's why I'm not like a Mark Zuckerberg trillionaire. It's like, well, at some point, intelligence doesn't matter. It's the work you put in. Who's more admirable? Someone with an IQ of 200 who is lazy and just sits in their house all day not doing anything, or someone with an IQ of, like, I don't know, what's an average IQ, like 105? Someone with an average IQ who works really hard and develops their skills and learns a lot about whatever they're interested in, and is productive and makes something of it. What's more admirable? What's more valuable? And I'd say it's certainly the latter. So that's kind of the philosophy that I take with, and the path that I want to go down. Working hard, developing myself, and improving myself. And I feel like this podcast is just one element of that. Not really a big one, but it's an element nonetheless. And I'll maybe extrapolate on this a bit more next week. I feel like I've talked way too much for an episode 1. I originally intended this to be a 10-minute podcast, but maybe the first episode warrants a little more talk. I just want to kind of keep it free-flowing and whatever, a little more focused. I'm losing a little focus as I go on. Anyway, I'll end it here. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.